Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 47 of the 72 review. We have got the full first team back and raring to go. The klaxon is back as well. This is fantastic. It's a good place to start. Jake, you're next to me. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
I'm Punkchef41. I do a Sheffield Wednesday fan channel for God knows why, because it's horrible at the minute, but things only can get better, as they say. But been doing it for a while, and just speak everything Wednesday. I also help co-host the Talking Wednesday podcast, which is out every Tuesday when we can get it out, because we've been busy recently.
Yeah, it's been a very busy time at Sheffield Wednesday, which we will probably get into later on in the show. Below Jake is Ian. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
I do it because I love football, as I always say. I'm 61, I'm Ian, and I'm a Rotherham season ticket holder. And when the Millers are away, I'm up and down the country vlogging for Over the Bar YouTube channel.
It's good stuff. And then below me is Lee from Around the Grounds. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
Yeah, I'm ground hopper for my YouTube channel. And when I'm not ground hopping, I'm trying to support Sheffield Wednesday as best as I can with this appalling season. But we got a point yesterday.
Hey!
So
It was dreadful as well. We'll get onto that later on in the show. So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy show tonight, to be fair. If you're a regular viewer, you know what we do. We go through all of the three divisions, but we've got some midweek action to touch upon as well. But if you are new, I'm Doncaster Rovers, if you can't tell, with the red and white and black bank behind me. We've got Liam.
I'm going to say, you never actually say who you are and what you do. You always do us and you make yourself out.
Yeah, I assume people know being on my channel, but yeah, I'm Rovers, vlogs, usual stuff. We've got Jake and Lee, obviously Sheffield Wednesday, and then we've got Ian in the bottom corner who was Rotherham. This week, I went to watch Sheffield Wednesday against Huddersfield. Ian went to Stockport to watch Stockport against Donny. Jake, you watched Wednesday Huddersfield as well. Lee, obviously Rotherham were down at Southampton, so a trip to Southampton, was it? No. If you see my Twitter, it wasn't Tiny Temper. He went to Scunthorpe instead. So we will.
He went to do part 2 because of what happened with Gunny. He had the first bit of going, it's not great, to the finally we got some good news.
yeah, and I was actually close to covering Wednesday yesterday at Hillsborough. So glad I didn't, because your analysis, it bored me just reading it, to be fair.
Mate.
Yeah,
I think some people fell asleep at half time and didn't wake up until they got told to leave.
I've seen better games of football, put it that way. Not a bad atmosphere in the way end, but we will get onto that shortly. As always, get your comments in. We will try and get through as many as we can as we're going through the show as well. We've already got Mr. Barnsley 2023. One for you, Jake, is a good friend of yours, I think. I'm as Jake with some Wednesday and Barnsley banter. A good week for Barnsley. A 4-0
The
win.
amount of time that he's in my video or my live stream chat, I swear he's a Wednesday.
We've got Finley as well. Wants to be on camera. Maybe one day we will get you on camera. I think maybe on like the 50th or maybe 100th episode, we may get fans who want to come on, and we'll make an extended episode where people can come on, have a chat and ask us questions on screen. I think that'd be a good show to have on maybe 50 or 100 as a special edition. We've got ATID. That one. Jake and Lee, you must be looking forward to your first win of the season.
Is it April Fool's? Are you having me on? Is that an April Fool's joke? Because you've seen us play.
I'm just looking forward to a win. I don't know.
Nat's in the chat as well. Very good evening. Good evening, Nat. We've got a new commenter. I don't think I've seen James very in the past. Newport are awful. We will get onto League 2 shortly. And then we've got Harvey Todd Gaming, Bradford going up under McDonald and all his chickens. So with that, let's get in.
I like
that. Keep the comments coming in. We will try and get through as much as we possibly can. Obviously, League 1, we will cover straight away. As I always say, head over to Cod's Vlogs, a fantastic content creator, for League 1 live at 8 o'clock tonight if you want a deep dive into League 1. because obviously we don't follow teams in there, but we will do.
Yeah.
I cover it a little bit, but he goes into deeper detail. So midweek, let's get the banner on before I forget. Any midweek games that you guys want to touch on, or should we just jump straight to the weekend?
Well, not really, but Oxford and Portsmouth are just tearing the division up.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are indeed. First and second, Pompey and Oxford. A great 3-0 win midweek for Oxford. I think it was 2-1 for Pompey. One thing that I do want to touch on is obviously the game which got suspended. This is the third week running that we've sent our condolences out to people. It seems to be happening far too often. Obviously, Derek Reynolds, 74 years old, took ill at Leyton Orient, and I think
it shouldn't have had the fan to come on the pitch to stop it. They should have actually listened to him, said there's an actual emergency, please get it done. And the fact that kind of Richie Wellens had a go at the fan for being on the pitch, I think that's a little bit of disgrace without thinking what was going on, without trying to figure out what the situation is. I think use your heads.
I think the fans that did go onto the pitch should be applauded for actually stopping the game. And also, the referee and the officials that tried to start the game again should never be allowed to officiate again. It was a disgrace.
No.
And sympathies go out because the guy used to be the stadium announcer at Brisbane Road as well.
Did he?
So I think that's apparently. And I think that just shows a massive lack of respect.
It's lack of respect, it's a lack of actual using your brain.
Yeah.
It's very rare fans will get the attention of the referee to say there's something that's happened and there's an emergency. The fact that you've ignored it it screams ignorance.
I think the frustrating thing for me is it seems to be happening so much now that it shouldn't be something new that they're not trained to deal with. And
it should be put into training in the summer.
There should be an EFL directive. An EFL directive in circumstances like that. Like you said, Dan, it's happening so often now. There should be a protocol put in place. Yeah, without a doubt.
But no, condolences go out to Derek's family. Yeah. 74 is far too early to go in this day and age, in my opinion.
Every fan should come home from a game.
Yeah, agree.
A nice touch from Reading and Orient though yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Reeves.
Yeah, two Reeves near receipt, weren't there? At the start of the game.
Yeah, superb that.
Yeah. Moving on to this weekend's action in League One. A game that I wanted to touch upon was Cheltenham, because they have scored their first goal of the season, and I don't know if this is putting pressure on.
That deserves the clap.
I don't know if this has put pressure on Warney even more, because obviously Cheltenham struggling to score. They've not scored in 11. They managed to get a point against Derby. I know Derby are only a couple of points off playoffs, but do we think this result puts heaps more pressure on Warney?
Warney has always been cautious away from home. He's always set his teams up away from home not to lose and to get a win if they can. Obviously, they controlled large areas of this game, but they don't go for it in the sense of the word that all-out attack. They concentrate on keeping the back line steady. It's not a surprise to me, this. I think
Ian,
Derby will
look at the stats. If you look at the stats, 17 shots, 8 on target, and 60. Looks like they had all of it.
Yeah.
Well, they had exactly. I mean, Cheltenham only had 37% possession. It's what you do with the ball, isn't it?
Do we all think Derby are missing an out-and-out goal scorer this season?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Which is why they tried to get Smith.
Collins does score his share of goals. Washington isn't going to get a lot of goals for him because he never did with us. Somebody of the sort of like Clark Harris type would be ideal for Derby.
Yeah, somebody who's going to get you a goal every other game, something like that.
Yeah, regular goal scorer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
There's a lot about Cheltenham, though.
They'll be up there.
Says a lot about Charlton. We said if the Alfie May went, they struggle.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, he started firing for Charlton, hasn't he? Started getting goals for Charlton.
Yeah, he has. Jake, any League One fixture that you want to touch on?
Oxford United at Bristol Rovers. It sounds like it was a bit of a cracking game, that, with the red card that kept on going everywhere. But look at that, 95-minute winner. You love 89th minute to make it 1-1, and then 95-minute winner. Oxford don't know how to lay down.
There were 2-1 up.
2-1 up after the red card. But you know what I mean? It's that whole thing of not knowing to quit.
Yeah.
And I think in this league, if you can learn how not to quit, you'll do well. I think problem with Bristol Rovers, and I think it's something that comes from last year, they're really good. They're just missing that final bit. That final bit to get over the line.
Yeah.
Say again, Ian. They're just missing that little bit, ain't there? That could get them over the line.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't think Joey Barton helps the situation when he does his interviews, because he's always angling up for a fight, or there's something. Well, it's little old Bristol instead of going, they were amazing. I think if he changes the attitude a little bit, it makes it a bit easier. But the red cards are going to be massive misses for Oxford. But at the end of the day, Oxford are just flying at the minute. They really recruited well in the summer. It's what he did at MK Don, just going a step further this time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
They're looking good. And they've got a very strong squad. Yeah.
Ian, any game you wanted to speak about in League One, mate?
Yeah. Yes. One result in particular, and that's Carlisle's 3-1 win at Bolton. Where did that come from? I mean, that is an incredible result. And Jordan Gibson getting a hat-trick.
Amazing support, 4,407 to be precise. Unbelievable.
Gee, that is a good amount of people to go to Bolton.
Yeah.
From Carlisle.
I mean, it's one of the few stadiums in League One that can accommodate 4,500 away fans, isn't it? Bolton.
Yeah.
Has he never said anything to cause this yet? Because that's normally what happens.
Yeah, there's normally an excuse, isn't there? I mean, to score three goals away from home with only 31% possession and 9 shots on target out of 15, that's bloody good going. That's your archetypal superb away from home and stuff.
Yeah,
I think they were blaming your mate Ian Fogden because he made his return yesterday.
Oh yeah, he did he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a good day all round. He weren't in Amsterdam or Munich or somewhere like that, pretending to be a Dortmund fan or whatever.
No, he ripped toilet when Bolton scored.
Oh, so he even missed that goal?
Yeah.
Poor lad.
He'd have been in toilet if I were there.
Come on. Oh, why, Ian? You salty bugger.
Yeah, not what you think either.
Moving on from Ian Thogden and Bolton. Lee, any games that you want to touch on, mate?
And toilets.
Get us put on a register here. Come on. What are we going with?
I didn't mean it like
that. Lee, any League One games, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on the Carlisle, but Ian stole my thunder. I've got to touch on Stevenage, yet another win. Didn't look the most glamorous games, but it's another win, and Stevenage just keep marching on. Amazing job he's doing, to be fair, Steve Evans. And he has been linked with a Wednesday job, I read this week. So, yeah.
Oh, can you just imagine Evans at Hillsborough? Oh, God. It'll be interesting.
Serial winner.
I'll tell you this much, he'd stop them losing.
Yeah,
that's it. Lewis is in the chat. He says, good result for Carlisle, 4,500 fans as well. Underrated fans, Carlisle. Certainly travelling in them numbers.
I agree with that.
Well,
a bit of a one on Exeter Barnsley. Good win, but their team bus caught fire on the way back.
Yeah, I read that.
No, Barnsley team bus caught fire on the way back. Luckily, nobody was injured. Everyone got off safely, but a lot of equipment and players stuff, because it was a away game, they stopped over. So there's a lot of like equipment just gone up in flames, and thankfully everyone got off safely. But it's those kind of things that you don't really think of, is it? In it, when you think about traveling these days, it's not something you're hearing about a bus going up.
Yeah.
So luckily everyone got off safely. Good win though, 89th minute winner, because Barnsley have been up and down so far this season.
Yeah, I think they won 4-0 midweek as well, didn't they? So a couple of really good away wins to bring them, I think, in touching distance of second place. Obviously,
that's another
bit better
away.
Yeah.
We will look at the table. Obviously, Barnsley now in third. They've played a game more than what Oxford have, but yeah, 5 points away. But that form at the top is ridiculous, isn't it? Far too much green there for my liking.
Yep.
For any of our likings, to be fair.
Yeah.
Looking at the bottom of the table, Cheltenham get their second point of the season. Still yet to get off the mark in terms of wins, but 1 goal scored in 12. So
I will say something. Reading and Wigan. I thought Wigan might have been out of it a little bit earlier than this, but they seem to have gone a bit backwards, which isn't looking good.
Falling off the cliff, haven't they?
Yeah.
And Reading are just in ownership limbo, like we are, like with everything. It's like another point that too many owners are getting into football without knowing what football is and how to run it. I reckon they should be on a course before they're allowed to like get a football club, just to figure out how to run it.
Yeah, too right. Fleetwood is the final team in the bottom 4, with Burton just ahead of them. Good win for Carlisle has give them a little bit of breathing space towards the bottom of the table. Playoffs, Barnsley, Stevenage, Peterborough, Bolton. Lots is going to change over the next, well, what is it, 6 months left of the season, something like
that? Yeah.
Plenty of time. Okay, moving on to League 2. Let's get the banner changed over before I forget about that. Midweek action first, we go to Doncaster at home to Crawley, and I thought this was a superb performance, team performance. The first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I thought we were in for a bit of a long evening. Obviously, Crawley had come into this one, I think they'd scored 3 or more goals in the previous 6 games, and they just hit us like an absolute bullet to begin with. High press, high energy, and it was kind of shit or bust football. That's the only way I can explain it. Because when we started to grow into the game, we kind of weathered the early storm, and a good counter attack and initial first time ball from Ironside across to Farl and a first time finish. From that point, it was relatively comfortable for the Rovers. I thought we managed the game well. I thought we controlled the ball. I know we've only got 41% possession compared to Crawley's 59%, but there was no point in the game where I was overly nervous that we were going to get pegged back. There was elements where I was looking at Crawley thinking that they were still threatening, but there was always kind of that extra gear that I thought Rovers had to go into. And in the second half, we managed to get the penalty. That second goal, it was a cushion that we needed just to kind of steady any nerves. And yeah, a really good performance. We've stopped a couple of free scoring teams at the Eco Power Stadium this season in Swindon and now Crawley. And I think we'll go on to Ian for this weekend's fixture at Stockport. Maybe away form is just not quite up to the standard as what home form is. McCann's come out and said that this weekend's game at Stockport, had that been at the Eco Power, we'd have probably won that. So it's about finding that balance for me now, getting that consistency of performances and results away. But yeah, anybody coming to the Eco Power at the minute, I'm quietly confident that we've got enough in us to give anybody a game in League 2. We'll quickly go through some of the comments that have come in. Lewis has said, Ironside is so good, ball's a magnet to his chest. Yeah, his hold of play is unreal. I think he's the kind of John Mark player that
one of your cracking bit of business you did in the summer.
Yeah, very good addition. ATID is coming. See Exeter winning the league by Xmas. Christmas. and the season is 6 months too long. And Nat's asked, what's it like to win a game? Do you know what? It's nice, but it still doesn't quite sink in. We've had a couple of seasons of dire football and dire results, and it still seems like it's a bit of a piss take when we do win a game.
You've all got 3 points from one game. That's more than me and Leah got, so shut up.
To be fair, Dan, I'm quite glad we didn't win last two, because I'm sure I said last week I'd do it in nude if we won.
I clipped it just in case you did win one of the previous 2 games. It was going to come up. I was praying for a Wednesday goal on Saturday.
Yeah.
Other midweek results, nothing really jumps out. Obviously, Notts County beating Swindon 3-1 was a good result. Other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. Bradford getting beat 2-1 by Tranmere. That spelled the end for Mark Hughes, I believe.
Yeah.
It was Wednesday morning.
What was out of the ordinary with Gillingham sacking their manager?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen both sides of the coin for this one. I think they've earned the most points in League Two in a calendar year, I believe, or this calendar year. I think the top. But I don't think they've had any sort of huge results. I think it has been 1-0s or narrow margins, and I think there's a nervousness that you can't always ride your luck and continue getting points. But I don't know. It was a shock for me seeing Neil Harris getting sacked from Gillingham.
Yeah, I think they were mixed, weren't they, with the reaction reading on Twitter. I think some were for it, some were against it type thing. For me, I'd maybe give him a bit longer. I mean, they've started well. It's not like Bradford, you can almost understand Hughes leaving. I think Bradford need to be, certainly they've been in League Two for quite some time, so I can see that one. But with Harris, I'd probably give him a bit longer, if I'm honest. I think it's the brand of football, and maybe the owners want to get out straight away this season.
I was praising them owners a couple of weeks ago, going, look, they're not being stupid, they're just letting him get on with it, kind of thing.
It's a massive appointment next for them, though, because they've got to get it right.
Yeah.
Because it could backfire.
I don't think Neil Harris will struggle to get another job.
No.
I think he's done a pretty good job at Gillingham, and I think he'll fall into another place.
He's done his CV a world of good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will touch on Newport because James is in the chat, and we do like to try and involve people who are in the chat. Oh my bogle. Cheers, James. Thanks. Claxon's off. But he's saying that their result was a fluke against Colchester. The ball went well over the line for Colchester and wasn't given. So, yeah, maybe it should have been a draw in that one. Sydney, I believe, is talking about Mark Hughes. The abuse he got at Tranmere was horrendous. Yeah, we had it last season with Danny Schofield. He got dogs abuse at Harrogate. And I think when you're at that point, you've lost the fans. There's no coming back from that. But as a fan base, I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think it needs to be done in a constructive way. Obviously, people, managers, everybody within a club are only human. Mistakes are made. I think we need to be more constructive in his criticism, because as soon as a player starts giving it back, you see the fans that are giving the players and officials or managers grief.
They kind of go, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. It's like, well, it's the only job in the world where you can have abuse thrown at you, but you can't give it back because you're in the wrong if you do.
I can remember, Dan, last season, Tom Anderson getting in a bit of trouble.
I think they think football players, managers are untouchable. They're allowed to abuse them, but I put this shoe on the other foot. Would they like it if they come into their place of work and start abusing them?
That's exactly what I said in the
They're only doing a job, and it is a job for most. Obviously, they're in a privileged position, but it doesn't warrant the abuse that they get, if I'm honest.
No,
it doesn't. Moving on to this weekend's game, Ian, you visited Stockport to watch Stockport against Doncaster. Obviously, away end was sold out. I've got a wedding to pay for, so away days are not a thing. Anthony, good friend of mine, Huddersfield fan, wanted to take me to watch them against Sheffield Wednesday. So who am I to give up a free ticket to a game of football? So I missed this one, but you took it in. Tell us, were we good? Were we bad? Did we deserve to lose? The floor is all yours, mate.
Well, it was a very even game. I thought Stockport attacked well first half. I thought your centre-back, Olowu and Andersons, I think they were superb. They were heading everything, throwing themselves in front of balls. Doncaster didn't look much of a threat going forward in the first half, but they repelled the Stockport attacks pretty comfortably. There were only the one chance that that Stockport had towards the end of the first half that I think it was Crosdale hit it in, and Louis Jones made a fantastic save, and it went in 0-0 at the break. Second half started, and Donny started to attack with purpose, and they looked dangerous. Fall looked dangerous. Ironside looked dangerous. And your right back, Nixon, I believe his name.
Tom Nixon.
He had the defender on toast for a lot of that second half, and he put some decent crosses in. The one about halfway through the second half, where there was a bad back pass let fall in. The keeper parried it, and it came to Ironside, and he tried to lob the keeper, and the keeper just got back and made a great save. So Doncaster were on top at that time. But as always happens, at Stockport make a couple of telling substitutions. They brought Kyle Wotton and Paddy Madden on, and both of them I was surprised they were on the bench, that they brought them on. Stockport started to attack a little bit more, and they eventually got the breakthrough, and it was a decent finish and a decent cross. Crossed it in from the right, and I can't pronounce these names. Alafi, I think it were. Got in front. Right, just got in front Jones to nod it home. And Stockport rode the rest of the game out fairly comfortably. But it was a good watch.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Rovers would be a bit unlucky not to get a point. I think they deserved a point from that game. I wouldn't say they deserved to win the game, but they're certainly looking more and more competitive in every game now.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the team come together. We've still got plenty of injuries. I think we're seeing the negative impact of the amount of injuries that we've got and the number of games that are coming thick and fast, that we've not got that freedom to kind of chop and change a squad to keep people fresh. So a lot of people have said that we looked dead on his feet from like 70, 80 minutes. So there's question marks over fitness and stuff, which McCann's completely quashed. He said that the guys are really fit. But I think we saw it against Everton. We've seen it in a couple of games this season where players do look dead on the feet. Tom Nixon, Tuesday night against Crawley, bombing up and down the wing all game. You're naturally going to tire towards the end. So maybe that's impacting it. But home comforts, like I said, are much better than away at the minute. We just need to find that balance. But it's nice that you as a neutral have gone and said that we matched a team that we've all put up there at the end of the season.
The performances are there. The results will come, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's it.
Ian, how was the pie?
Oh, absolutely magnificent. Sorry, Lee, but I had the steak and ale pie, mash and gravy. Mushy peas and gravy. Absolutely superb. I demolished it in no time. The stadium catering at Stockport's out of this world. I mean, you'd vouch for that, wouldn't you, Lee?
100%, yeah. I think just the whole experience at Stockport's brilliant.
And also, I think that county courtyard is with live music and everything. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it with football. You need to make it more of an experience from not just the 90 minutes, but an hour or so before kickoff, maybe two to 3 hours before kickoff.
I think you're seeing a lot of influence from the NFL, from where they do their build up kind of thing. Not gone are the days where you can just have your build up in a pub, because let's be honest, there's not many pubs open anymore.
No.
That you can go in and just do your normal pre-pint. So having to do it at the ground or whatever, I think it's a cracking idea.
Yeah, I'd agree. Jake, you've not said much in League Two. Is there a game that you wanted to touch on?
Wrexham just getting that win after it felt like they were at that point where they were looking like they needed to get something, because I was feeling that Parkinson could be on the verge of getting sacked because they've not started well. And yes, they are the League Two darling due to the whole Hollywood aspect, but they should be playing a little bit better brand of football. And they've shown bits and spells where they're doing okay, but then they go and do psychotic defending. Like, they are the ultimate, like, everybody's up top, but at the back, they're all over the place. And if they manage to get a decent window, they should be okay. But the problem is, all I ever see from Wrexham is the latest new sponsorship or this sponsorship there. It's like they're actually doing it the right way of how to run a football club by getting the big sponsors, but they're forgetting to play the football part.
Yeah.
And Crawley, a team who were on the up, 25 shots, 5 on target, and they get 10 and 5 and 33 possessions, and then to get it and just see them out for the whole game with 10 men as well. I think that's a cracking result.
It looks like a bit of a smash and grab, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Smash and grab on the 13th minute, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Grab it, hold on like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Crawley played anything near like the played against us on Tuesday night, it is literally full throttle, shots from on site, and they're a joy to watch, exciting football to watch. But I think as soon as they go 1-0 down, they're going to find it hard to kind of turn games around. So I think Crawley's probably one to watch this season. I don't know if they've started well and they're going to tail off, or if they're going to continue doing what they're doing. They've surprised me for certain, because I thought they were nailed on for relegation.
I thought they were nailed on for relegation. Something changed behind the scenes there, and it worked. Maybe Bitcoin gone up a bit.
Go on here.
There were everybody's tick to go down, but they've got points in the bag now. So if they do start to struggle, at least they've got a little bit of a buffer. But I mean, they lost again on Saturday, didn't? They've lost 2 on the trot now, haven't they? Donny and Wrexham.
It was Midweek and Wrexham Saturday. Yeah. So a little blip, haven't they? Lee, any League Two games that take your fancy before we look at the table and move into the Championship?
Yeah, just Gillingham, MK Dons, a good win. Obviously, managerless. We've just touched on that, so we're interested to see how this one would fare out. I think MK Dons slightly worrying for them. And Jonathan mentioned in the Twitter earlier, we're allowed to slate the defending for either first or second, but they've not now won in 7, which is really worrying after a fairly decent start. Something's not going right there really at the moment, is it?
No,
and
no, it's not.
I used to stop scoring as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I
mean,
27 shots.
Yeah.
Isn't Jonathan quite actually at the point where he thinks he'll get sacked?
I think he mentioned that,
Yeah, he's not. I think they've set the stall out for an instant return to League One, haven't they? So I think the start they had, like you said, Lee, was positive. It was a decent start, but since then, it's just
Do you think it a weird appointment anyway? I wouldn't have picked him as a name to go in there. Anyone?
Decent name for MK for League Two, but it was a bit of a shock in that certain sense. It did seem a bit left field, didn't it? It wasn't something you would have thought, get him and see what happens.
Yeah, obviously, previous club Salford, I just didn't see that one coming, if I'm honest. So, and he's not one for.
I'll be honest, Lee, you caught me out there, because I'm not sure where he came from or anything. You've asked us a question. I'm like, I hope one of these boys jumps in, because I ain't got a clue.
Thing is, you all stayed still, and I thought, oh my God,
I froze out here.
We have to do that more often.
Who do we think can get a Gillingham job?
Steve Bruce's favourite, isn't he?
I've seen that.
Oh no!
Favourite.
But having said that, Steve Bruce started his playing career at
He
Gillingham.
did.
He did.
Yeah.
He looks like Mike Bassett. When you remember them pictures? We all
Yeah. all I will say, if you get the job, just make sure you don't take your dog for a walk. For God's sake.
Why is he a bit like Keith Lord?
Oh no, you know when he lost the job at Wednesday, he said, all I'm doing is taking my dog for a walk. And he took his dog for a walk and he walked all the way to Sodden Newcastle and got a Newcastle job.
All right. I thought you were going to go down Phoenix Nights, Keith Lord.
Nearly did.
We've got a couple of comments have come in. Mr. C, hello everyone on screen. Good evening, Mr. C. Lewis couldn't tell if Crawley's keeper is good or not. No, he seemed to pull off a decent save on Tuesday night, but then he just looked completely lost at other points in the game. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, the Crawley keeper. James thinks Forest Green are going down. It's been a tough couple of games for them.
I agree with that.
Yeah. ATID, Sutton beating Walsall 4-0, not getting a shout. Well, it is.
Yeah,
I've got them on my piece of paper down here. Obviously, Sutton coming off at the bottom, absolutely emphatically as well. They've not won since the opening day against Notts County, and that was absolute thumping as well. And then they've, like I say, not won since then. And they've given Walsall their third defeat in 5. But it's one or the other for Sutton, isn't it? Where they absolutely thump a team or do absolutely nothing. And that worries me because we've got Sutton on Saturday. So I'm hoping that it's not this sort of performance again. But it is at home, so I'm quietly confident. But no, a great result for Sutton. Obviously, ATID saying that they're winless in 188 games.
88.
So let's have a quick look.
All the goals at Sutton came in the first half.
Yeah, done and dusted by half time, wasn't it? So, yeah.
When do we think Forest Green will do their inevitable "we need a new manager" shout again?
It's coming, isn't it?
Yep.
It's coming, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Forest Green slipped to bottom. Sutton pulled themselves off of bottom, but they're on the same points. And then Tranmere and Colchester and Donny pretty close to the bottom 2 as well. Hopefully it stays like this for the rest of the season. And then at the end of the season, I can contact every Colchester fan that battered me on Twitter. And just to go, there you go.
I'll say it now though, Dan. It's destined for them to finish above you now.
Yeah, I've put commentator's curse on it, haven't I?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look at the top 7 before we move on to the Championship. Notts County having a fantastic start back in League 2. Stockport, after a poor start, have just gone on an absolute incredible run. And it just shows, put a run of games together in consistency. And this table is that tight, you can go from bottom to top in no time.
I will say Wimbledon are just creeping under the radar.
Yeah.
They've only lost once all season.
It's mad, isn't it? I think they failed to win at home for ages until last weekend.
Until last week, yeah.
So
the away record must be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can we finish that top 3 now? Because that's my prediction.
That is actually your prediction, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll finish it now.
I don't think you'll be far wrong, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll be there.
Yeah.
And a little shout out for Mansfield, still unbeaten. They've drawn too many, though, haven't they?
Yeah. I'll say that could be the downfall, the number of draws, but they're still in a very good position, 12 games in. Crewe, the entertainers of League 2, and then Wrexham sneak in to the top 7.
Whoever had Crawley in 8th this season?
Nobody. Nobody had Crawley in 8th. They'll take it. Okay, moving on to the Championship. We will start. Obviously, the big news coming out of the Championship on this show is that Cisco Muniz is no more at Sheffield Wednesday, and that was after a pretty boring.
This game. I would rather watch paint dry. The only comical thing about this was Akinfenwa going to do a slide tackle that it made him look like he was buffering because he had really bad internet because it took him ages to go and get the ball. We're just crap. We really are. We like under sick. I don't know what Sicko was doing in training because whatever it was, it just didn't work. And the problem is, yes, he's now gone, and we can look a bit further forward. But he should have gone ages ago. Like he should have gone a little bit sooner than that. It shouldn't have gone to 10 winless games and the worst start for the owners go, oh, I'll give him a bit longer. Just no. Like, we didn't even look like having really much a game. And I did a watch along of this game. And like, I'm sat there going, why the hell am I watching this? Because it was just so boring. Because West Brom should have battered us. They should have absolutely battered us. And I'm not surprised they didn't get massively told off not for getting more goals because they should have done.
Yeah.
Because it was just horrible. Like 2 shots, 4 on target. That's most we've had of many games. 27% possession. It's just whatever he was trying to do with those players, it didn't work. Like you roll on to the game against Huddersfield, it was better. But the thing is, as well, we've got to think Marvin Johnson's now registered as a player after all being frozen out. So it says something wasn't right there.
Yeah.
So he's registered on the squad then now, is he?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I saw on Saturday was a team full of players that were in the right position.
Yeah.
He's been
playing Lee Gregory as a winger. A winger. Lee Gregory has never been a winger in his life.
No.
He's playing Akinfenwa as a left back. He's a centre back. There's a reason why he went to that slide tackle and it took him a million years to try and get near the ball and he still didn't get it.
I think that sums up Xisco's tenure at Wednesday when he brought Batkinson on as a left of the front three. Mind boggles. I think
I will say something. It was funny by the Wente. And also, fair credit to Wente fan, 2,000 people went to that on a Tuesday night game, bottom of the league, haven't won a game. And you know it's bad. And you know it's bad when Wente fans say, how shit must you be if you're beating us only 1-0?
Yeah.
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 You're nothing special. We lose every week. We get that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, no, a win's a win in terms of how West Brom will be looking at it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like you said, Jake, I think looking back, the goal difference can make a big difference in the Championship. And this is one of those games where they could have really helped their goal difference out somewhat.
Also know it's bad when Liam Palmer's on the sideline having an argument with the manager at one point because he was trying to ask him, what am I going to do? Liam Palmer is the nicest bloke going. For him to turn around, he looked absolutely devastated at half-time when he was clapping those fans.
Yeah.
I certainly would like to hear his team talks. I think that'd be really interesting.
It can't be as bad as his sodding interviews after games. Or with
that's what I'm basing on because it's just
It comes
I waffle useless.
It comes across as though he doesn't really give a toss one way or the other, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think at that point he knew that his days were numbered. Like from a couple of weeks previous, from interviews that I've kind of caught on social media, I think there was something about him, a little bit about him at the start of the season, but it got zapped out of him so quickly. I don't know if he kind of realised that his hands were tied and he couldn't really do anything with Chansiri.
Problem is, all the players he brought in, he'd players.
Yeah.
They're all players he picked, so I can't see why it's not worked.
Basically, he's decimated a promoted squad, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The various players that were key to the promotion team that's just sort of being put out to grass. Michael Smith as one. Ihekwe another.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hardly played. And
it's funny how Away played yesterday, and he did superb. Yeah. He was amazing at the back.
Yeah.
I think
he went downhill after we beat your pre-season.
I think the key is not to change too much of a winning formula. Yeah, we went up in playoffs, but 93 points. You just look at Ipswich, they've not changed anything. Wednesdays, we just needed legs and energy in there to compensate with what we had, the likes of Bannon and co. But to change a squad team and just alienate the likes of Johnson, just absolutely mind boggles.
Yeah, it does. Before we move on to Rotherham's midweek, we will just get Plymouth up because ATID's put a comment in the chat and I don't want to lose it before as that goes up and we move on. He said, I don't think I can put it into words how shite we've been this week. 1 out of 9 points and that 1 point came away. 2 home losses against shite teams. The founder's out and there's nothing we can do about it. So midweek finished 2-0.
I'm going to say, what's this you losing at home? You hardly ever lose at home.
Yeah, but he says that as an outsider looking in, just looking at the stats, I've not seen any of the highlights or anything. It looks like Plymouth have had much more of the game and just been hit by probably 2 goals on the counter, 3 shots on target. They've scored 2. It's
smashing
efficient, isn't it?
If I'm a Plymouth fan, I wouldn't be worried.
No.
You look at the Norwich result; they've absolutely steamrolled them. They're quite capable of winning games. I think I'd swap being a Plymouth fan and a Wednesday fan right now. Trust me.
21 shots is the complete amount of shots you've had all season, isn't it?
Yeah. And both of them are in the Don.
Rating, obviously a good result on Saturday, but a negative one on Tuesday. Let's get your rant out of the way, mate. Rotherham 1, Bristol City 2.
Not really a rant. The stats don't really back it up. I thought we played pretty well. We conceded a lot of possession, 58% for Bristol City, but we held them at bay pretty well. We didn't have a lot going forward for the majority of the game. But I think the defence played pretty well. I think the turning point, Tom, when Bristol City made the substitution on 80 minutes and brought Tommy Conway on, and we first virtually touch of the ball. He turned our fullback up inside out, cut onto his right foot and hit a great shot. Lovely goal to make it 1-0. We countered fairly well. After that, we had a couple of near misses. Well, I said near misses. So opportunities that we didn't make the most of. And then we brought Arvin Apaya on, who's by trade, he's a left winger, but we put him on the right side for some reason. But he put a beautiful cross in, and Blackett finished it. Tyler Blackett finished it. We look like we've got a point out of it, which we were all pretty pleased with. But the actual incident that lost us the game was Tyler Blackett himself pulled his hamstring in the 95th minute. And he had to go off, and we'd used all 5 subs. So therefore, we were 10 men for the last 30 seconds. And obviously, Space has conceded with a guy going off. And nothing cross came in, and Conway finished it very well. And we got nothing out of a game that we competed well, and we should have probably got a point out of. So disappointment, no rant. I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we will stick.
I can't stand us being on Sky. Just take us off the flaming Sky.
Yeah, same. Same for Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think sticking with Rotherham in a game that you expected to get tonked 5 or 6-0. I think you said a few weeks ago.
I did, yeah. I did. Well, the thing is, obviously I was elsewhere, but I have seen the extended highlights. And
I'll say it for you, Ian. You were watching a proper team.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Our goalkeeper, Victor Johansson, ought to be given the freedom of Rotherham after the performance he put in at Southampton. He saved virtually everything. I've always said he's probably in the top 3 in the best goalkeepers in the EFL. And I think he proved it yesterday. Absolute. Some of the blinding saves. One, I think it was in the 90th minute, it was a double save. Absolutely, yeah, 20% possession. It were like that. We're like the Alamo. But we got a point. So yeah, it don't matter.
You got a point.
The final and Hugo's goal was an absolute stunner.
He's going some stunning goals this season.
Yeah, Hugo's goal. I mean, somebody could have lashed at that. It went in Rowe's head, but he actually cushioned it over the keeper. It was a fantastic finish.
I will say, Hugo is more this season. He's doing what Adam Reach did to us one season, where he was just having wildies.
Yeah. He don't score tappings.
No.
Yeah. But obviously more than pleased. More than pleased with the result, because I did expect an absolute hammer in there, and the stats prove that we probably should have had a hammer in, but we stuck in there. We fought. What's up? What have I said?
ATID, you deliver week in, week out.
That's a belter.
So ATID popped in with an absolute worldie here, as I couldn't catch COVID, licking handrails in Wuhan, the useless twat. Ben Cooper is back soon. ATID never changed. Never ever changed.
Never ever changed. Is he still injured, Cooper? Then still on that injury he got last season?
No comment on what happened in that one.
I'm not sure. ATID, is Cooper still injured from that injury last season? Okay, moving on to Sheffield Wednesday at home to Huddersfield.
Darren Moore A versus Darren Moore B, basically.
Yeah. Jake, take this one away, mate. I'll interject at points as a neutral, but obviously Wednesday your team. Tell us your thoughts.
You know what? When it first started, I actually said I wouldn't mind taking a draw. I know they're not great, Huddersfield, and I got pelted for it. I got absolutely pelted for it being like, we need to be going for a win, but where we're at, I mean, a draw feels like a win. But it was the most boring game of football ever. It was just both teams set up. And I think for us, we brought in a lot of the old guard who got us up. So I think it was one player, and I think it was Bernard who got man of the match, who was part of the Sicko signings. It's not the rot, but it's where we go from here. Like, each team where, I will say something, Huddersfield, when they break, they are scarily good. They've just got no end product. If they can get an end product, they're going to be really good to go against. But there's no end product at the minute. I ain't even got half an hour to talk about when they were crap. But the thing is, when we did have chances, nothing really thought. We had a bit more possession than we have under Sicko, but that's not bloody hard.
No.
Yeah, it's not that hard to have more possession than a Sicko team. I think what showed is that you have players who were playing for each other. You have Will Vogt playing well in the middle, Gregory Smith, who was linked up all season. It was just one of those games where it was actually quite full at Hillsborough, which I wasn't surprised by, because I thought it was going to be the kind of just giving Darren Moore the send-off he should have had kind of thing, because but 0-0, both teams were bad at each other. I think it's a fair result, to be fair. I think if someone had nicked it, it would have been a bit cruel, but each team can't hit a barn door.
Yeah, I think from the perspective that I had in the Huddersfield end, there were boos at the end. They weren't happy with the performance as a team. They weren't happy that there were no shots on target. I think they were unfortunate in the first half. The corner's come out to, I think it may have been Sorba Thomas, and he's tried to chip the keeper, and it's just dropped wide of the post. A little bit more composure on that, and it's dropped
Thomas
in the back
is
of the
a
net.
cracking player, by the way. He's got a real good future.
There were frustrations from the fans on his final ball. I think you just touched on it, that attacking or counter-attacking, they look threatening, but that final third kind of just composure in the final third to get that final pass in, or just a bit of gambling. A couple of players in the box. There were so many times where they were going down the wing, and there was just no. Even if they put a delivery in there, it was an empty box, and that's frustrating from a fan's point of view, I think. Anthony's in the chat. He says, we've got rid of 24 players, got rid of Rhodes, and we're left with Danny Ward, who was always injured. And you've got Jordan Rhodes banging goals in left, right, and centre at League One level, and struggling to get a shot off on target. So things like that are obviously frustrating. I'll put it out there. The disallowed goal in the second half, I think there is an arm from the Huddersfield player.
It does go into it, but I also think it's goalkeepers. If it was on any other player, it's a goal.
Yeah.
Because it's on the goalie, it's given.
Yeah, I think my frustration watching that is there were two in the first half, one on either keeper, where nothing was given and play continued, and then this one the referee decided.
I think the referee was a bit shit for both teams. He stopped and started a little bit too much. Yeah,
it was an horrible game of football, to be honest. It was such.
So Anthony, next time you're going to take into a game of football, make it an enjoyable one.
Yeah, too right.
Don't come to Hillsborough.
Did you catch any fallout from this after being at Scunny that you want to add into, mate?
I think a couple of notes. I think interesting team selection. You got Dawson and James coming in, which is a massive statement. Obviously, Xisco didn't pick him for well, we don't know the reasons, but I think it just went back to basics. I mean, the next managerial appointment's going to be key for Chancery now. It's got to get it right because the season's looking pretty grim.
If you get that new manager bounce, you can get out of it. It just, we never have a new manager bounce.
I don't know.
Oh, hopefully that new manager bounce does come. But yeah, like you said, Lee, season seems to be kind of petering out and dead already. So is it about getting that right person to put the foundations in ready for a push again next season?
I think the season can be picked up, but you've just got to get the right person and get the fans back on side, because you've got to make Hillsborough a bit of a fortress like we did last couple of seasons. It's just, I think you'll easily get fans on side by putting in a shift. I think that's what Wednesday fans can appreciate. Any working man, he'll just go to Hillsborough. They can hold hands up if they get beat. He'll just, as long as they've seen a shift, you can sort of get behind it. It's just like I said, Chancery, he can sort of make amend by this next appointment, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anthony's just said that Huddersfield fans are slating more already for the lack of new manager bounce. Obviously, 4 games in charge, no wins yet, but a note on the Huddersfield fans. I thought they were superb in the away end yesterday. Very noisy. There's been few away ends that I've been in that have been that noisy. But yeah, plenty of travelling spectators going to that one. But yeah, unfortunately, didn't get delivered a spectacle.
Break it done. Apparently, we should have Danny Rull, who is the ex-Southampton assistant manager, Bayern Munich assistant manager, and German national team assistant manager. It's a gamble because he's never managed. He's 34 years old, so he's a young one. It will be a big gamble, but I think it's a gamble I'm willing to let him take if he gets given the structure to do long-term building.
Yeah. See, Neil disagrees. He says Danny Roll, a 34-year-old ex-Bayern and Germany assistant, in my opinion, isn't the type of manager Owls need now.
He's the wrong manager right
now.
Get
a proven English manager in.
I think the thing is, though, a proven English manager ain't going to work under Chancery.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you get a proven English manager and you look at your likes of Steve Evans, Warnock, you're still not guaranteed the wins, and it may just be sticking a plaster over a gaping wound. Whereas I think potentially Danny Roll could start putting those foundations in and getting something from the squad this season. And if it goes the way that Wednesday fans don't want it to go and you end up back in League One next season, sticking with him, you've now got a number of months to try and implement a style bring players in January, sort your squad out, ready for a push next season, while still trying to survive this season. But it's a tough one, and I'm glad it's not a decision that I'm making.
I think it's key. It obviously must be appreciated, because I've read Bournemouth are keen on Danny Royal because their manager's under a bit of pressure. So it must be obviously knows his stuff. So it might not
a
be.
lot of Southampton fans say the reason Hudson Hart did so well there, and it went a bit downhill after he went. So
yeah,
willing to give it a try.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
It's certainly worth the risk.
Yeah.
Got nothing
Now,
else.
risk is not worth it, is what Lewis has put in. Go for Danny Schofield.
That is a risk.
Okay, we've ticked over the hour mark. We've still got predictions to do. Is there any games in the Championship that you guys want to touch on very briefly?
Borough turning the season round. After the most awful start they've had, they've just had a 9-point week.
They have.
And it looks like Carrick has started to make them click. And what a result at Sunderland local derby.
Does anyone know what he got sent off for yet?
Yeah, dissent.
Was it dissent? So he basically told the referee to F off.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Right.
Well, no,
yeah,
cracking result from
that's made a massive difference to result, hasn't it? Just on the stroke of half time.
Yeah.
Score at 0-0. Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, playing 45 minutes with 10 men, and then from 58 minutes onwards, Middlesbrough just tore Sunderland to pieces, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Jake, go for it.
Birmingham, West Brom. Birmingham looking like they're doing really well, but it sounds like they might do something stupid. Which, if this happens, they're mental, their owners. Sorry, just mental. So it's sounding like they might it's either they're going to sack John Eustace or John Eustace is going to Rangers. It's one or the other. But they want to bring Wayne Rooney in and show to manage it. And I don't get that. What has actually Wayne Rooney achieved in his managerial career, apart from just keeping Derby up?
Just another name, isn't he?
It's brand. It's all about brand. I don't understand why you would do that. Why would you upset the apple cart when they're doing so well where they are in the league? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like John Swift going again was great, but Birmingham just demolished them. They were up for it. They went for it. Yeah, two of the players got a bit of a telling off for making the Z symbol because the hooligan should think a little bit better. Quite an even game when you actually look at the stats, but Birmingham can finish games off. But if you decide to sack Eustace to get someone big and shiny, I think you're idiots as a ownership.
I'd agree with that. I think, like you say, with the form that they're in and the position that they're in the table, I think it's a strange one. Obviously, if he's actively leaving to go to Rangers, then they're going to have to replace him, and then it's a good opportunity to bring somebody in like a name which will potentially bring more fans into the stadium. But yeah, it's only really kept Derby County up. Other than that, it's not a massive pedigree, is it, as a manager? But great.
And also they'll have to change the name of the club to Wayne Rooney's Birmingham City, won't
they? Lee, is there a Championship game that you want to touch on before we look at the table, mate?
Yeah, you've got to mention Ipswich again, obviously winning the week, and then again yesterday, they're just unstoppable. And
the clinical.
The brand of football they're playing is just
didn't even know Whiteman had scored. Jesus. I miss him. I miss Whiteman. What a player.
Yeah, the brand of football they're playing is just if you're an Ipswich fan, you've got to be absolutely buzzing.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, the picking of goals with Brandon Williams just picked it up point in their half, and he's absolute run and great effort, and just I think the key is everyone's chipping in with goals as well, and obviously Kane Jackson come off the bench. They're a force, and they're certainly going to be in there. And there's already a gap opening up at the top. To be fair, the top two.
They do concede too many, like you say, Mitzi, but they got the kind of mentality of net goal winner, or we'll just bag about 5-5 and then we'll concede 2. Yeah. If they can show that defence, they'll be brilliant.
And I think they're going to be so hard to beat at Portman Road. It's a bit of a fortress.
I'd agree with that. Ian, anything to add to this one, mate?
Chaplin just can't stop scoring, can he?
No.
He virtually scores every week. And guess what Rotherham's next league game is?
Ipswich.
Ipswich at home, and it's on Sky. Oh, my God.
So, Ian, does that mean George Hurst is going to bag a hat-trick because he couldn't do anything with it when he was at you lot?
He couldn't hit a Bondo with a bazooka when he was with us. So, yeah, it's bound to score.
I hope he does that with celebration.
Yeah, he's got to do it. Just for Ian, right in front of his seat.
Ian on Sky.
I'll be on pink, mate.
Right, let's have a look at the table and round this one off. Quickly at the bottom, obviously 3 points, 3 draws for the Wednesday, yet to win a game.
We've got 3 points, it's just not all 3 in one match, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Hopefully that 3 points in one game does come. Rotherham need to start picking points up pretty sharpish, but it's still, like you say, there's a gap opening, 10 points, Stoke in 21st. So Wednesday is 7 points behind that. Rotherham are 4. You want to be getting points as quickly as possible so that gap doesn't open up and you cut adrift. So we will see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, international break to kind of gather the troops and get ready to go again. Can you see us getting out of this?
For us, it's pre-season marked 3 now. So I think we've had 2 pre-seasons now.
No, as far as Rotherham are concerned, I think, to be honest, it's too much for us. There's too many clubs in that league with too much money and too much quality. I think we'll give 1 or 2 of the big boys a bit of a nosebleed at times, but I really just can't see us surviving this season.
Yeah,
I think we've got to make that appointment Monday, Tuesday latest.
By the sounds, it sounds like it's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, he's got the international break. He's got to get that appointment in, give him a good week and a bit to work on. Obviously, next game away. Is it Plymouth?
Also, I want to say, everyone who's like had a go at like people who were backing Sicko when it comes in, you back a manager when they come in. It's what you do.
Yeah.
You're not normal if you don't.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Neil said QPR look doomed by their performances. I think I'd agree with that. I think Ainsworth is probably the one on the tightrope at the minute. And a big surprise for all of us at the 72 review as well was obviously within the fog of managerial sackings, we saw a Watford statement, and it wasn't actually a sacking, it was a contract extension, and that's surprising with them sat in 20th. They're normally very quick to fire from the hip, aren't they?
All I'll say is, who is an agent, and now you have Watford pants down because of the queue a mile long want to know what you've done.
Yeah, that's it. We touched on Middlesbrough, 9-point week. That has dragged them well away from it. 4 wins on the bounce and a draw in their last 5. So
Blackburn are looking a little bit. Yeah, they turned it, but I wasn't expecting to see Blackburn there.
No, they're a surprise down there. Looking at the top, is it Leicester and Ipswich's season this season? A bit like Burnley were last season. And I just dipped out there.
You're all right, can still hear you.
Oh no. Right, let's round this off before we have technical issues once again. I am dipping out. I think Vicky's unplugged the internet once again.
Dinner's in the dog.
That is the table. Yeah, that is the table. Let's quickly get rid of the banner. Have a look at predictions and round this off. Okay, so bit of a tough week for everybody. not a lot of
Shocking
green
hell, I
in
did
there.
crap.
Yeah, the best was Burton with 7 points, but the table changes. Neil's dragged himself up to top joint points on with MTFC. Lee and Martin, then me in 4th. We both move up. Bailey drops down to 5th. Ian, you move up to 6th. Lee and Jake move down to 7th and 8th. Adam, Christian, and ATID all stay in 9th, 10th, and 11th. Lewis pulls up to 12th. Lizzie drops down to 13th. And then we've got Burton and Jonathan stay in 14th and 15th. John pulls up to 16th. Worko down to 17th. And Abaddon and Charlie in 18th and 19th. So this weekend, obviously, there's an international break. Only 3 games that we're playing this week. And that is Port Vale against Exeter, Donny versus Sutton, and MK Dons versus Barrow. So get your predictions in the chat and we will update that. We will start with Ian. Go for it.
Right, okay. I'm going Port Vale 2, Exeter 1. I'm going Rovers 4. Yeah. I'm going Rovers 4, Sutton 2.
Oh, I've gone 3-0 in that one.
And I'm going MK Dons 2, Barrow 2.
I've gone 2-1 to Barrow. Lee, hit me.
Port Vale 1-1. Donny to win 2-1. And MK Dons to win 3-1.
3-1. Lovely. Jake?
Vale to win 2-1.
Yep.
Donny 2-0 and 2-0 Barrow.
2-0 to Donny, 2-0 to Barrow, yeah?
Yep.
Lovely stuff. So, like I say, get your comments in, your predictions in the chat. There we are, we're back. And I will get everything updated. Caro, whoa, what's going on here? Surely you've got the numbers the wrong way around there. We don't like that.
He's mugging you right off there.
He is. He's getting banned. But no, let's round this off before the internet kills me. There is no show next week. It's my stag do on Saturday, so I am going to be in an absolute state, probably still on Sunday. So unfortunately, no show next week. We will be going live again on the 22nd. There's an international break as well, so we're not missing too much. Only League One and a little bit of League One and League Two. So no show next week. There will be one the week after. But no, this rounds it off. Any final words? We'll start with Lee below me. Any final words from this week, mate?
Yeah, top show yet again, lads. Always a pleasure to talk football with you guys and be part of this show. I am jetting off on Wednesday for an international fair weather training to Tenerife. So absolutely buzzing for that.
That's it. That's what you want, mate. So it's good that the show's not on next week because we're not at full tilt anyway. And I'll definitely not be at full tilt on Sunday. I'll be done and dusted, I think. Ian, any final words, mate?
Well, I'm hoping for a goal fest next Saturday because I'm at your place, Dan. I'm at Eco Power for Doncaster against Sutton. So hoping for a good game. The international break always comes at a good time for Rotherham because we don't lose on a Saturday. So I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, keep following your clubs. No matter how bad it seems, we're supporters at the end of the day.
That's it.
Good.
That's it indeed. Jake, any final words, mate?
My one is just a little one, personal one for me. I had a bit of an issue Thursday night or whenever we sacked him. Basically, I got a thumbnail wrong. It pissed me off over ending to the point that I went to bed in tears because I was fucked off with myself for making a mistake. I am highly dyslexic and I make it very well known that I'm highly dyslexic for that point. Do not beat someone up for doing content when they love doing it. It is free content. We do this because we love it and we love our clubs. I felt horrible. I got a good load of responses from people saying, don't be yourself over it. Just think that for some people, doing this is hard. We all didn't get in front of cameras and it was natural. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of getting grief from other people and building our communities up. We do it because we love our channel. We do it because we love our clubs. Don't rigatil someone where it beats them up. And I'm only saying this because us as men, we are crap at talking about this stuff, and it should be talked about more often. I'd rather talk about it here and me take it to bed, kind of feeling, and then me take it to bed and feel crap about it, and then have maybe a thought where I'm not going to be here, because that sometimes does happen. I'd rather speak about it openly. That shows other people and other men can open up about this. And I want to be able to be here on a Sunday talking about it. I'm not in as many shows this much this year because I've got a little on the way. And that's why I wasn't there last week. My missus was like, there's no way you're doing that. And I'm not going to argue with a 7-month pregnant lady. I like life. But yeah, but at the end of the day, we do this because we love it. If we make a mistake, we're only human. It's the same as what Lee said about footballers. It's their job. It's the only job in the world where you get abuse without any kind of reactive going back. So speak up, do it openly or do it publicly or do it to your mates, but please just speak. I'd rather have people in the chat we see week in, week out than not at all. And apologies, I got quite upset there.
Well said, mate. Always treat people how you'd like to be treated. I think Lewis said it really well there.
Yeah.
That's mad.
As we've said numerous times on this show, all our DMs are open. So if anybody's feeling a little bit like Jake is as well, get in touch. We won't always reply straight away, but we will try and get there as soon as possible. But yeah, talk about it. It is as simple as that. Football, people say that it's only a game, but it is much more than that. There's emotions attached to it that people don't quite understand. So yeah, that's why we do it. Obviously, this is a safe space. I think the chat is always superb. I think you guys are very respectful in the banter that you deliver, and we'll give as much as we can take as well. I think everybody knows where the line is. So hopefully, this community continues to grow and we continue to support each other. And yeah, we need it because our teams are shite. About it. I think that is a great note to end on. If you've enjoyed this week's show and you're watching it throughout the week on repeat, please get your comments in the section down below. Smash the like so it does get out there. We want as many people enjoying the show as possible. Subscribe to all 3 of these guys. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. And all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks in the next one.